Well, welcome to Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body. I'm Dr. Brian Tavoian. I'm a dentist in Cedar City, Utah, and I have a new business. It's called Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body. It has to do with the entire body and how it can make you feel better and be more confident with yourself. And I'm here today with James, and we're going to just sit and talk and have a good old time.
I love it. Well, thanks for having me, Brian. It's kind of nice to be in here with you on this awesome day. So having been a dentist for 30 years and over 30 years and in Cedar City, what inspired you to want to be a dentist just in general?
You know, that's interesting. I had a great dentist when I was a kid. We went to a pedodontist, Dr. Lambert, and I've said to my parents ever since I was 5 years old, hey, I'm going to be a dentist. I'm going to be a dentist, whatever. And I'm quite the outdoorsman, and I like to hunt and everything else. So usually that doesn't really fit with a professional that goes to school for dozens of years, it seems like, right? So, and throughout elementary, junior high, high school, just going through the motions of getting your degrees, of getting through the grades and everything. And I was working as a machinist ever since I was 14, and with a good friend of mine. His name is Branko Globevnik, and he owned Globe Tool and Die. He was from Yugoslavia. Anyway, great guy. He's since passed away too. I guess because I'm getting so old, everybody that I knew in my youth has gone. Anyway, and so I was thinking, man, I really should be a machinist. This guy does really well, and I'm good with machines and metal but I'm always in the back of my mind, no, just go to school, Brian. Just go to school. And so I went to Utah State. Went into pre-dentistry, biology, it's the same thing. Pre-med, pre-dent, biology, it's the same thing back then. And I just started taking classes. And it gets to the end of the year, end of my 4 years, and it's like, well, you better take the DAT, the dental acceptance test, right? So I studied for that, and, I was going to be a physician at one point, and then my dad got sick, and I was taking care of him, and he passed away, and I says, I don't want to be around sick people the rest of my life. And so I'm going back to the original being a dentist thing since 5 years old. Anyway, took the DAT, got accepted, went to dental school. And that's when, jumped in with both feet because, you're just kind of, when you're younger, you go, yeah, God, there's so many things I want to do.
Yeah, 100%.
My ultimate goal was to be a bush pilot and hunting guide in Alaska. That was what I wanted to be when I was 17 years old.
Yeah. Did you get close?
Well, I partially live in Alaska now, and I don't have a pilot's license. That's kind of a strange thing. I'll tell you about it, but I hunt up there and fish up there all the time now. I have great friends up there. Just love to fish up there. There's just the most incredible fish ever in the world. It's just That's so awesome. Fun. And it was. It's kind of a little, I don't want to say preachy, but churchy kind of is a better way to say it. Sitting there and I pray for answers. I pray for things because I believe there is a Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost, all of those things. And so I'm praying, and it's like, no, don't become a pilot. And I was, the heck with that.
Hey, whatever.
About 2 months later, I'm calling, hey, I really want to be this pilot. Which school should I go to? Don't become a pilot. God, that's just stupid. I don't want this answer. About 3 months after that, I said the same thing. And literally this voice comes and says, don't become a pilot. And so I'm never going to. Finally,
Huh.
sometimes you only get an answer once. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
lucky enough to get an answer 3 times. So
Maybe it was temporary. Maybe now it's the time.
Nope.
I'm just kidding.
no, I'm going to listen.
You learned your lesson?
I've learned throughout 60 some odd years, I better learn to listen to the Spirit.
That's cool. I like
And
that.
hey, when this happened, guess what? The Spirit said, this is going to help so many people. This face, mind, and body. The BTL is a company that is just state of the art, absolutely the best company, the best machines in the world. They have FDA approval. They have so many of their machines. It's the only machine that does all 3 of these things or 4 of these things in the entire world. That nobody even comes close. And so when I saw this and said my insight was just absolutely, and the answer was absolutely. You can help so many people with this, and it doesn't have to be just with the person's mouth.
So you mentioned you love fishing, and you wanted to be a bush pilot, and you spent a lot of time in Alaska lately. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing in Alaska. Are you just there hunting and fishing, or are you just there for pleasure, for work?
Well, it started out hunting and fishing.
Okay.
So years and years ago, my wife and I went on a cruise to Alaska, and it was some of the funnest things that we did was take a helicopter ride onto a glacier and walk around the glacier on top of it. It was the coolest thing. It was the best, excursion, because if you didn't know anything about cruises, you got these excursions. It's the best excursion ever.
Yeah.
And so a couple years later, we decided to go up fishing with my friend Clint Waters and his family, or some of his family, and I took one of my sons and his wife and my wife. So we're up there fishing, and it was fun, but we caught a bunch of fish in the ocean, but not in the river. And we went on this really cool thing. It went over to, it's called Wolverine Creek, and you fly out of this lake.
Okay.
On a float plane, go over the Cook Inlet, and go over to a place called Wolverine Creek, and this is where all these bears are that are getting these fish, and you're literally in a boat, and they're right next to me. I'm the corner of that right there. I had a mama bear just sitting down on her haunches like this, just looking around. She'd put her head down into the water and look. She'd look around. And I'm literally 12 feet away from her fishing, right?
No, pass.
And so she looks, and all of a sudden she jerks and tries to get a fish.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, so we were going up there. Another friend of mine, who is the same person who had their cerebral accident, right? We'd say, hey, let's start coming up here. He'd been going up there for 10 years or so before that every year. Why don't we start coming up here and fishing more often? And there was a piece of land purchased, and I helped build we call it a cabin, but it's a house.
Okay.
And we would go fishing, and I'm going, God, this is so fun. So much different than the first time I came here, because I didn't finish the story. You'd go over the mouth of the Kenai River. This is the river that goes through. It's the most famous river in Alaska for fishing. And they had fishing nets all along the mouth of that. They weren't letting any fish in whatsoever. And we may catch 2 a day, 3 a day, right? And it's like, no, you can catch 3 a day per person. And we have 7 people up there, and we're catching 4 fish a day. This is stupid. Anyway, so we go up there, and the state of Alaska said, commercial fishermen, you can't do that anymore. And that's
lovely.
That's when the fish started coming in. And we would go out fishing, whether it be early in the morning or what, we'd catch our limit. And it's like, at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, God, what are we going to do the rest of the day? What are we going to do? And it's like, God, why don't, Brian, because I'm always thinking, right?
Yeah.
Why don't I work up here during the day and fish at night, because it doesn't get dark until 12 or 1 o'clock, right?
That's crazy, yeah.
So I talked with a friend of mine in Cedar City. He said, hey, go talk to this guy, Dr. Lockwood. Talked to him, got my license. I started working for him as a fill-in dentist over the summers. And I would work during the day, fish at night. And it would, of course, it would pay for my trip that way, right?
Yeah.
And more. And so I tried to work a little bit more, but he was never organized for me to come up really anything more. And then long story short, he passes away. And I didn't want to be like a vulture and go talk to his wife at that point and just say, hey, do you want to sell the practice,
Yeah.
And maybe I should have in retrospect, but I just didn't feel good about it.
Okay.
So again, the praying thing comes in, answer, don't go do this, don't go do this. Essentially 2 years later, anyway, what happened is she didn't pay the rent on the building. The person that was leasing it to her in the contract said, if you don't pay for X amount of months, we can confiscate everything in the building.
That's not good.
And so apparently they went to court. They won. The 2nd September, I go over there to look in to see if all of the dental equipment's still there. And finally there's this for sale sign there. I call them up. I give them an offer that day. I said, this is what I want. Boom, 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 boom. Well, I don't know. There's, you got 2 owners, got an older retired dentist and a younger contractor. Say, well, give them the offer.
Yeah.
Calls and say, oh, by the way, put in that I'm a dentist that wants to keep this a dental office. So the realtor did it. He says that's what put them over the edge. They said yes to this, this, and this. They want to change a little bit here, a little bit there, and that was it. Then I owned a building that had 5 chairs in it, all the equipment, all the supplies. It even had stamps left, forever stamps and paper clips. I mean, it was like I would shut my door and 2 years later I'd open the door and everything would be there.
That's crazy.
So and now I go up every month for either a week or 2 and build a practice from scratch up there. Just like I build a practice from scratch in Cedar City.
That's crazy. So you're solo in the Alaska office.
Yes.
You're the dentist.
Yes.
Cool.
I just got back about a week ago. Yeah. Hey, if there's any dentists out there, you want to go up and hunt and fish and work in Alaska, let me know. Or in Utah, for heaven's sakes.
Mm-hmm.
We got 2 great practices. Anyway, that's how I got up to Alaska as a dentist. And hunting and fishing is just, I don't want to say it's second, but, it's still not being retired and working and still, having kid at home and doing different things like that. Yeah, you still got to work and you still got to make money. But it was, it's kind of a little, I don't want to say preachy, but churchy kind of is a better way to say it. Sitting there and I pray for answers. I pray for things because I believe there is a Heavenly Father, Jesus Christ, and the Holy Ghost, all of those things. And so I'm praying, and it's like, no, don't become a pilot. And I was, the heck with that.
Hey, whatever.
About 2 months later, I'm calling. Hey, I really want to be this pilot. Which school should I go to? Don't become a pilot. God, this is stupid. I don't want this answer. About 3 months after that, I said the same thing. And literally this voice comes and says, don't become a pilot. And so I'm never going to. Finally, sometimes you only get an answer once. I was lucky enough to get an answer 3 times. So
maybe it was temporary. Maybe now it's the time.
Nope.
I'm just kidding.
No, I'm going to listen. I've learned my throughout 60 some odd years. I better learn to listen to the Spirit.
That's cool. I
like
that.
So, hey, when this happened, guess what? The Spirit said, this is going to help so many people. This face, mind, and body. The BTL is a company that is just state of the art, absolutely the best company, the best machines in the world. They have FDA approval. They have many of their machines. It's the only machine that does all 3 of these things or 4 of these things in the entire world that nobody even comes close. And so when I saw this and said my insight was just absolutely, and the answer was absolutely, you can help so many people with this, and it doesn't have to be just with the person's mouth.
That's so cool.
So and so we're working at it.
No, I love it. So being a dentist for 35 years, obviously right now you've started this practice. So how did we get from working on the mouth to that next step of like, hey, I want to expand. I want to do more than just the face, right?
Right. Well, this is kind of a long answer, but that's okay. You know, I love dentistry. That's almost every single one of my friends that I went to dental school with, and we were in the study group together, maybe one, all of them have retired. Okay. And, you know, I love them to death, but there's so many changes in dentistry since 30, 35 years ago. The technology has just skyrocketed. You know, we couldn't even do composite filling, white fillings in back teeth when I went to dental school. That's
crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a lot of silver fillings, so.
Right. And sometimes people call them mercury fillings.
Mercury.
And, you know, it kind of depends on how you look at it. But yes. So things have changed, and I love change. I don't like doing the same thing all the time. So, and to keep my mind focused in dentistry, I had to do other things. Okay. So, excuse me. My brother, Jim, was, when I say was, he passed away a little more than a year ago, was the best mechanic I've ever known in my life. I mean, he could figure out anything. There were times where I would go into where he's working, he had an entire backhoe disassembled. It was, I'm serious, it's a 3-bay system, and he has all of the parts all laid out on sheets just in a row. Like, oh my gosh, what? He goes, have you ever done this before? No, I've never done this before. And he put them in a row so that he knew exactly how to put them back, all the pressure plates, you know, the shims, everything. And that's how he rolled. He could fix anything. I learned a lot from him. Almost everything I know mechanically was from him. So what I did, full circle here, is to keep saying, I would do a lot of different things. I would, you know, I've always been more in health with, you know, interior design nutritionals from, I can't even remember the company in Provo that New Skin. It was New Skin.
Yeah,
they're
still around.
Yeah, they are. And so we did some New Skin stuff and some vitamins and different things like that. And then, you know, I bought all these cars and I would fix them up and sell them. You know, the one weekend I bought 17 cars, got them up from Phoenix and other places, fix them all up. And here I am, you know,
17
grease
cars.
under the fingernails, you know, you're scraping and stuff while you're working on people's mouth and everything else. And then it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Hey, I've done it. I can fix it. I can do this. I can do that. So when this came around last summer, my wife was Wendy. She wanted me to get into Botox because in Utah, dentists can legally do Botox. And I don't want to insult her, but she says, you can do Botox, but I don't want you to do anybody but me. That's okay.
She wanted a special doctor treatment.
Yeah. So this guy named Tracy calls me up and says, hey, he's got this seminar with this face stuff up in Salt Lake. Well, I'm going to be in Alaska then. Well, hey, we'll pay for your hotel. You do this seminar, you come look at it, and you know, it'll help your practice because it has to do with the face. And I was thinking that it was Botox. Okay,
yeah,
it really was.
That makes sense.
So I literally flew in from Alaska to Salt Lake. We had a 2-day conference, and it had nothing to do with Botox because these machines, the BTL machines, there's no scalpel, there's no shots, there's no surgery. and it's totally, there's no invasiveness about it whatsoever. And so I looked at that and saw this and saw the results, and man, I was hooked, because now, instead of just doing my best to make smiles better, people can eat and chew. One of the greatest things in dentistry is, people talking like this, and, they're laughing like, and then you get them nice teeth and they can't stop smiling. It's one of the greatest things in dentistry. Well, now there's 4 machines, one for the body and sculpting and joints, another one for the face to help tighten your skin, get more hyaluronic acid, tighten your muscles, get rid of wrinkles. There's another one, it's called the Exomine, and this is going to be a phenomenal thing once it hooks on, because it can cure and help with so many things. So many people that have been on antidepressants and stuff after these treatments, they're gone. Eating disorders, sleeping disorders, PTSD, ADHD, all kinds of different things. And then there's the last machine is the Emcella, and that's the thing that you would think the dentist would do the least.
Okay.
But this is where so many major transformations have happened. It's a machine that helps both men and women, and it strengthens their pelvic core and their pelvic floor, if you will. And if they leak or anything else, whether it's man or female, man or woman, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It helps them, helps prostate with men, ED with men, all kinds of different things with women. And so, man, it's just so fun to know that these people are just, oh my gosh, they sit back and I didn't believe this was happening. I hope it would. My husband sure as heck didn't believe it was going to happen. But, and I'm going to be graphic here, I don't pee the bed anymore.
That's awesome.
It's like, my husband is, oh my gosh, he can't believe that this is actually working. And so that same sense of the greatest thing it is to see a people smile when they never do. And now they're just so happy because their life has just transformed just with one simple thing, just one of the 4 machines. And it's just awesome. It's so cool to see that. So that's how it transitioned, because I'm always trying to do other things, because if I do other things, I'm still interested in the bread and butter. I'm still interested in dentistry, and I love dentistry. People say you're never going to retire. I may not. But the point is, I still love doing it. I'm always learning how to do stuff, all these implants and big implant cases and different things like this. And man, it's just so fun to see the transformation of people. And again, now it's not just the mouth.
Yeah.
And their personality. It's the entire body now and their personality.
That's awesome. So these 4 machines that you got, can people get those services? Like, is it in Cedar City currently? Is that where you're located?
Yes, sir. Cedar City, we're so much closer to heaven. I shouldn't say that because,
Is the mountains, or?
Yeah, a little bit higher in elevation is really what I meant.
From at least from St. George, you're a little bit closer.
Yeah. Yes, it is. We, meaning Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body, is the only business that has all 4 of these machines south of, I think, Draper. Maybe Provo, but Draper for sure.
That's way cool.
And so we're just excited. We want to expand. We want to come down to St. George also. That's one of my my big goals, what I really want to do. But of course, if I'm a dentist in Cedar City, I have to start where I'm at.
Right.
And that's where I'm at. And Cedar's a great place. So great people.
Beautiful.
St. George people, Hurricane, Lavercan, all these people are coming up from the more southern part to participate and use these machines, and they're all loving it.
That's awesome. You did mention earlier that some people are kind of skeptical, right? So they're like, I don't think it's going to work, you know? So like, how do you help someone get past like maybe the magic of it all? Because again, at the end of the day, sometimes people think machines are just magic, right? Or voodoo.
Right. Well, that's good. That's a tough one. That's something that we are always evolving of how to, get that criticism or skepticism over the patient.
Yeah.
And when we started, it was like, hey, come try it before you buy it.
Oh, cool.
And we will periodically have some of those same open houses, if you will. But just I mean, even my staff members, whatever. No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Just get over here and do this. And then it's like after 3, maybe 4 visits of the 6 with the Emsella, it's like my whole life's changed. I don't have to use pads. I don't have to do this. I don't have to do that. I don't leak. I don't, when I run, I jump on a trampoline. None of those things happen anymore. And it's like, all you had to do is try. It's not scary. Again, there's no needles. There's no surgery. There's no scalpel. There's no hurt. There's none of that stuff that, and I'm not bad mouthing, plastic surgeons. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying these are things that you can do that are more permanent. Yes, you can have some touch up later on in a few months or maybe every half year. It depends on the person and their muscle tone and everything else. But yeah, it's just try it. So what we do in our office is we're starting to ask people and tell them about this stuff because they just don't know. Yeah. They just don't know. I mean, you sit there and you call up, they just don't know. So we're saying, hey, do this and we can answer all the questions you want. Just come in for a free consultation and you'll see all the machines. Brian will talk with you, Tiffany or Michaela, whomever, let you know what these machines do and see how we can help you. Not if we can, because essentially every single person, maybe not an infant, but every single adult person can benefit from this.
That's so awesome. So the skepticism is kind of erased by the magic of the success that comes from just trying it.
We had this Be Healthy Utah event here in St. George just a few months ago, and one of the presenters was right next to me, and I said, hey, of course I can't use any names, come over and try this, but let her do it for free. Hey, whatever. And her husband. Okay.
Yeah.
So come on. This is what she said. She said, well, last night I got up 6 times to visit the restroom. 6 times. Well, try it. Let's see what happens. She came back the next day and he goes, I'm going to talk to this person before I talk to you, but just a minute. Okay. So she comes over when no one else was around. She puts her hands on the desk. I can't believe this. I want you to know I only got up 1 time last night, not 6. And this is only one of the 6 treatments. Oh my gosh. We're staying down here and we're going to come up and get as many treatments as we can while we're here in Southern Utah. And because she lives in Ogden. Absolutely. And she did, her husband did it, and they're both happy as can be.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like with the incontinence, especially if you can't sleep, helping that would help your sleep cycle and kind of help a lot of your overall recovery for most issues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, it's not just, hey, I leak. It is, wow, I'm sleeping better.
Yeah.
I'm happier. I'm healthier. I don't look so tired. I don't feel so tired. I'm sleeping better because I don't have to get up so many times. I mean, there's all kinds of, it's a cascade effect in a way of positivity when you use these different machines. Men have come in and told me, no, I don't, and I can understand this, and I'm just going to talk straight.
That's fine. This is your place, man.
Right.
Your show.
Not very men are going to come in and say, I have an ED problem. I need you to help me. Okay, I don't see that. However, men that have come in, it's like, yes, I don't have those urges anymore. I can hold it longer. I don't get up as many times in the night. And again, we think of this with women, especially after you have a child, all those muscles are a little bit different down there. But men, it helps men also.
Yeah.
And it's not just so they can not get up in the morning and pee. It helps prostate issues. It does help ED issues. It helps all kinds of issues. But it's just so fun to hear. And most of the time, I have a woman treating a woman. So, and even a woman treating a man, because some people aren't going to express their problems to me as a man, especially women. And so I hear all of the good things that have happened. There was one patient who, I'm going to tell you this too, it's like, oh man, I can't believe this. She has this treatment and she says, this has made it worse. It's not made it better. And okay.
You're like, wait a minute.
and so we, we're talking to this person, and we're talking through Tiffany is the main person who does this work, and a good friend of mine. And she says, I'll just say Joanne.
Okay.
Joanne, just wait for a couple days. It's like if you worked out really heavily and your arms were so sore you could barely lift your arms. It's the same way with any muscle. And a day and a half later, it's like, oh my gosh, this is working. I can't believe this. I'm 34 years old. I never thought that I would have any problems like this, or this problem would be solved. And I've got to go back there. I live in Texas. I'm coming up to see my mom and dad in Hurricane, so I can come up here to Cedar City to get this done. I mean, I've got people coming from all over the place.
So it sounds like in that situation, like a lot of people are kind of looking at it as like acceptance of aging, right? So it's like, hey, incontinence is just part of aging. I just have to live with it. But you're kind of saying like, hey, it doesn't have to be,
Well, yeah, and it doesn't even have to be aging. I mean,
that's true. I mean, giving birth and stuff.
34, hey, that's not pretty old.
Yeah.
We've got another one that's 28 that has the same problem.
Yeah.
Another one that's 21 that has the same problem, and a male, and he's fixed. He didn't.
Interesting.
He got home from his mission, got treatments. They went to Southern California. Normally he would have to stop 6 times. He didn't have to stop once. He could control his bladder that whole time to Southern California, all 6-7 hours, whatever it was.
That's crazy.
And this is a man, not a woman.
Yeah. I mean, not to
and
focus.
he's 21.
Yeah. I was gonna
not
say,
61 or 71 or 81.
Yeah, not to focus solely on incontinence for the show, but like someone that is young, because now I'm just curious, like what would be some of the reasons why they might struggle with that more? Just like genetics, or like maybe...
Could be genetics. They may not be just strong people.
Okay.
Muscle is muscle.
Yeah.
And us men in general are bigger, stronger, have more muscle. The bone is thicker, stronger, denser. Okay. So, and there's a lot of petite women that don't have a lot of strength. And that would really mean everywhere.
Got
right?
it. Yeah.
So it could just be size. It could be genetics. It could be, symptoms of after having kids. I mean, it could be a lot of different things. And we're not an expert on why those things happen.
Just that if you have
but we're getting to be an expert of solving the issue.
That's so awesome.
And I guess it's really the machine that does. I'm just either the lucky one or maybe the smart one who owns the machine to help the people feel better about themselves.
Yeah. So, and just to quickly recap some of the things, the 4 machines of what they do. So you have 4 machines. Remind me again, like what it is and then what it treats.
Okay. M-Face. M-Face was the one who says, this is the only one you should get because you're a dentist, you deal with the face. We can make it so that you don't have bags under your eyes, wrinkles up here. It can make your cheeks more hollow or to stand out your cheekbones so you look younger. You get rid of a double chin. They just came out, and this is the coolest thing. They just came out with the TMJ side of it, temporomandibular joint issue. And what it does is the same thing. When I was in dental school, this guy named Dr. Silto, there's no such thing back then as a TMJ specialist, but if there was one, he would have been it. And I worked for him, and I learned so much from him about the temporomandibular joint. And he says most of the problems, and this was when I was doing this 37 years ago, okay? He says most of the problem has to do with muscles, okay? What? Yeah, muscles. Okay, I talk to oral surgeons and they say, oh, that's bullcrap. No, that's what it is. Not what it is. Absolutely. And BTL figured this out. And they have these pads that help stimulate the muscles that hook on to the disc that's in the condyle that keeps it from popping over the condyle and the fossa that's in your jaw. I mean, that's how it works. And it's like, this is the coolest thing because, they're doing like, I tell people that jet your jaw forward. Okay? Do that about 20 times a day.
Now everyone's doing it, right?
Yeah, and that'll help your muscles. There's like 2 people it hasn't helped out of thousands, literally. And so what's BTL doing? I tell them to do that maybe 80 times a day. BTL, they're doing that like 15,000 times. So
at once almost?
30
minutes? How long's a session?
In about 15 minutes.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy because it's all electrical stuff, and
yeah,
because that's all it is. Our movement is just an electrical impulse that tells our muscles to move, and so they mimic that in our jaw and everywhere else for that matter. So that's the M-face, and it does all kinds of other things, micro needling and Exion, which is it's a wand that you help get rid of fat and tight skin and get more hyaluronic acid. Okay. Then there's the ExoMind, which is a transcranial stimulation to your brain that makes more neurologic pathways. Okay. And this was the thing that was the most exciting to me. One of my best friends, he had a cerebral accident. Stroke, lack of oxygen, whatever you want to call it. And that's really what it is in the brain. A cerebral accident can be anything.
Okay.
And I was thinking, and the whole thing was he needed to retrain his brain because he couldn't use his left side very well, right? And you get these new neurologic pathways. I'm going, ding, 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 ding. This is going to just be perfect for him. I'm going to help him. We're going to hunt together. We're going to fish together like we did. All of these things. But because there was some type of a seizure, we can't use that on him. And I was really heartbroken about that.
Yeah.
But it can help so many other people. And that's the one that helps with eating disorders, depression, sleeping disorders, PTSD, ADHD, just to make you feel better. And we have one girl that says, I'm just so much more calm. I used to have this fuse that was like this. I would get angry so fast. He says, my fuse is so much longer now. It's like, so if... and there was a time, and I still have it in my life, is that my fuse was short too. And I need to have that fuse longer. So I'm going to be using this. We're just so busy and that's what we talked about yesterday. We had a staff meeting. It's like, we all have to use this more and better.
Right.
Because we're also all busy all the time from 8 to 5. We don't even have lunch, 6, 7 sometimes. Sometimes it's 7 in the morning. It's like, when are we going to do this and treat ourselves? Well, we got to make that time.
Yeah.
So that's the ExoMind. The Emcella is to strengthen the pelvic floor, both men and women, mostly for incontinence for women, but it also with women, but it also helps men just as equally with being able to control their bladder, not getting up so many times at night, ED issues, prostate issues. It helps prostate issues all the time. So it can help relieve all the issues that men have with prostates. Okay. Help relieve it. I'm not saying it's going to cure anything, but anyway. And then we have the M-Sculpt Neo, which is a cool thing. My friend, the same one that had the cerebral accident, his hands kind of like this, and his shoulder was frozen because maybe some things that happened in the hospital or whatever, people just trying to reposition him, it hurt his shoulder or whatever. Anyway, we put it on his forearm and his hand went from this to this. So it went from this to this. It was amazing. It was amazing. And we have videos of it to where he could lift his shoulder a little bit and then he could lift it a lot farther. And we could see the difference. And this is in one treatment. This is one treatment.
So it is kind of like magic a little bit.
Yeah.
Or it feels like it when you're watching it in the works.
And it does. And, it wasn't something that it solved his issue because he still has to have that and get his muscles back and his working his hand better. But it can help and it will help. We just have to be consistent with the treatments.
Right.
Myself, I don't know what I have. I have this hip issue on my left hand. All of a sudden it happened. And if my legs are like this, I can go with my left leg like this, my right leg can go all the way down. One treatment, 30 minutes. Okay. And I go there and it hurt. I couldn't go any farther. 30 minutes, my leg is going down normally. Okay. Again, what do I need to do? I need to make it consistent so that it works and it doesn't hurt. And I mean, this is me. It's not just some, corporate answer to give to anybody. This is me. This happened to me.
It's not the marketing materials that came with the equipment.
Exactly.
This is your personal experience.
Mm-hmm. So, and those are things, but that's kind of a functional thing. We get a sculpting thing where you can sculpt your arms, and I wish I had more of it on my arms. You sculpt your chest, your stomach. For instance, your stomach, it increases your muscle mass by 25%. So this is the only machine in the world that will do three things: increase your muscle mass, get rid of subcutaneous fat, and get rid of 17% fat of your visceral fat. So that's the fat that's bad for you, the fat that's around your viscera or your organs. Those are the thing. That's the thing that's bad about it. And again, there's no burning, there's no freezing, there's no scalpel, there's no suction out the fat, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
And we have some pretty good results. Usually those stomach results, they take a month or more to see and feel. And in that 4 treatment sessions, it's like working out for 6 months. You get the same amount of effect in your stomach: fat loss, muscle strength, and visceral fat loss as you would in like 6 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. So this is the new venture for Dr. Brian Tavoian, huh?
Yes, sir.
You're still going to obviously be a dentist, but on the podcast, I mean, you're just starting out. We're going to learn more about this over the next few months as you kind of open it up, and hopefully people can get in there and see it. I kind of want to come and just see the machines one of these days.
Well, we've talked about you getting up there with other people here, and we'll give you some free treatments so you can see what's going on. I think you should.
See if I can get a 6-pack after a month, or at least less of a keg,
Hey, whatever works. Yeah. Well, and yes, I am still going to be a dentist, and I'm going to say this. I've been lucky and I've been blessed with people that I work with. I have 4 girls that have been there for over 27 years, 28 years. One that's been there 34 years. I mean, this is the first person I ever hired. And, part of the reason why we are successful, a big part of the reason why I'm successful as a dentist is my staff. Okay. part of the reason why we keep winning Best of Iron County. And I'm going to, sure, I'm breaking my arm, patting myself on the back, but I'm really giving a lot of the credit to the girls because they do want to come and see Michelle and get their teeth cleaned. They do want to come talk to Barb and just say hi and see what's going on. She's my office manager.
Yeah.
Michelle is the hygienist. They do want to come to see Tiffany and Heidi and talk with them and talk about the kids and grandkids and all the other stuff like that because we're a family there. Okay, and we do have some newer girls there too, Michaela and Julie, and they're great. They try so hard, and they're doing a great job, and people love them. And we're building that, and we've built it, and we're maintaining it the best we can. Well, we want to build on all of that with Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body, and we got the same girls there, helping and treating. As they do with dentistry. So what do we want? Yes, we want people to understand that, hey, this is a little mini family that we have. It's not blood relatives, but
might as well be, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. We care about each other. We care about each other's families, kids, grandkids, all of that stuff. And I want people to know that same love and caring and consideration and concern, all of that stuff is going to go with Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body. We're not hiring anybody new right now, okay? We may have to if we get bigger, but the truth is we don't need to right now. We can have the same loving, caring, fun person that you've always known or want to get to know. They're helping with Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body as the same as Tavoian Family Dentistry.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So your goal is same culture as you develop out this new venture.
And it is a different animal. Again, we had a staff meeting yesterday, and it's a different animal. This BTL business, this Face, Mind, and Body business, is way different than, a dentistry thing.
Right.
A dentistry thing. But they complement each other. It doesn't matter if they're different or not. They complement each other because just like you're, say we made some new teeth for you and you smiled and whatever, and yet smile, and that's what we want. That same, lack of pain in joints, that same skinnier frame as far as obesity or fat there. Muscles are stronger, all kinds of things. It just changes everything, gives people more confidence, just like they have a confidence to smile. They have a more confidence to be out there and talk to people or not. Maybe they don't want to, but they look better. And the thing is, they feel better from the inside out.
I love that.
Yeah. Well, everybody, thank you for visiting us and being with us with this first ever Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body podcast. I really appreciate it. We're excited about this. Hopefully, I didn't look so funny or be so funny, but hey, it's just me. Next time, we're going to have my. He's kind of my rep. His name's Crete Gallagher. He's going to be with us. We're going to talk a little bit more of the science of the machines and more of the science of what they can do and what they do. But, man, I'm just appreciative of you to visit us and to spend your time with us. If you do have any questions, my key to all of this is call us at the easiest number in Cedar City to remember. 586-0123. They'll answer the phone, Tavoian Dentistry and Southern Utah Face, Mind, and Body, and just ask for me or ask to get a consult. If you want to know and see these machines, I'd be happy to show them to you and answer any questions you have. Thank you so much.